This video is brought to you by Squarespace. If you need a website or domain, go to squarespace.com. Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. If you've been shooting for years and you feel like you've plateaued, it's probably not your gear. It's not your camera settings, it's how you're practicing. We get into a groove of doing more what we're already good at, like a golfer that practices at the driving range with their favorite club. But getting better means pushing new boundaries, not repeating the same formula or doing what feels comfortable. In this video, I'm going to show you the reasons we as photographers sometimes get stuck in a rut and practical tips to help us take our photography to a new level. And I think I can help here because I've been there, going from this to this. My name is Simon D'Entremont and I'm a professional nature and wildlife photographer living in Eastern Canada. I make weekly videos giving you photo tips or taking you behind the scenes for nature photography. Subscribe if you want to see more. Okay, what are we talking about here? Most photographers practice what they already enjoy, repeat the same type of shots, evaluate sharpness instead of impact, and don't isolate the skills needed to get to the next level. The reality is, repetition isn't practice. We instinctively want to come home from a photography outing with something we're proud of. Who wants to come home with less than our best? Unfortunately, growing as a photographer may mean exactly that. Once we find a way of shooting that works, a lens we trust, a lighting setup that's reliable, a composition formula that gets compliments, our brain starts protecting it. It likes predictability, it likes patterns, it likes knowing if I do this, I'll get that. So we repeat it. Over time, that repetition quietly turns into a creative autopilot. We stop experimenting. We stop risking bad results. And without realizing it, we trade growth for comfort. And if it sounds like I'm talking down to you on this, I'm not. I'm speaking from experience. When I started out in wildlife photography, I was happy to find any wildlife and just get a photo, then maybe a sharp photo. Then I discovered how a clean background could make my subject pop. Then I found the magic of a bird on a branch with a clean background. Awesome. So I shot lots of that for 2 years straight. I call them a boas, bird on a stick. Then more boas, more. The problem? Every photo started looking the same. No innovation, same thing over and over. So I'm going to share with you the tips I have for breaking out of your slump and innovating, and share my personal journey that allowed me to go from this to this. My first tip here is that there's a reason casual shooting doesn't automatically lead to improvement. Psychologist Anders Ericsson, who studied elite performers for decades, coined the term deliberate practice. His research showed that people don't improve just by repeating a skill. They improve by practicing in a very specific way. Deliberate practice has a few defining traits. It targets a specific weakness. It pushes you slightly beyond your current ability, and it includes feedback. Now, there's nothing wrong with going out and doing photography because you enjoy it. 100% good. But if your goal is to improve, you need to work at the edge of your ability. If you go out and photograph the same subjects the same way, with the same lens, in the same conditions, even if you do it 100 times, you're reinforcing what you already know. Deliberate shooting in photography might look like this. You struggle with dynamic light. Then you only shoot backlit subjects for a week. Now you're isolating variables. In a gym analogy, now you're working on a weaker muscle. And you're operating at the edge of your comfort zone, which is exactly where Ericsson's research suggests growth happens. And here's the uncomfortable part. Deliberate practice doesn't always produce your best photos. Sometimes it produces worse ones, but it produces a better photographer. Secondly, one of the biggest reasons photographers feel stuck is they're measuring the wrong things. After a shoot, what do many people do? They zoom to 100%. They check for sharpness, they look for noise, and they scan for technical flaws like not enough dynamic range. If it's sharp and clean, they think good photo. But let me tell you a secret. Nobody cares. When I saw this photo from my buddy Irvin Olsen, I told him it was one of my favorites ever. His answer, but it's not very sharp. Or this photo of mine where I told a friend, oh, I wish I had more shutter speed to freeze the motion. Hint, nobody cares. Sharpness is not as strong as composition, low noise is not as important as storytelling, and technical perfection is not as powerful as impact. If you want to improve, you have to start evaluating your images in the way that viewers actually experience them, not the way that photographers pixel peep them. These photos of mine are all bad if evaluated according to a photographer's evaluation. But again, no one else cares, and they were all very popular on my social media and amongst my friends. What I learned is that I need to worry less about the technical and rules aspect of my photos and more on just getting a pleasing image. I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. I built my own website using Squarespace and it was a breeze. A website is just a great way to have a professional place online where you can show off your work or your service or your personal brand. Social media are often showing you or your work in short clips or photos or thumbnails, and sometimes makes it difficult to monetize as they may not want links to external sites. A website is a permanent home for you and your work, presented in galleries or on pages designed by you that show them off at their best. There are lots of useful templates, including ones for specific genres like photography. Or if you're more daring and artistic, you can go outside the templates using the new AI feature called Squarespace Blueprint to help you personally curate and lead your own build. It's also a great way to monetize your work by setting up an online store using Squarespace payments. You can take payments in all kinds of ways, including credit cards and PayPal from all over the world. And now with a new added feature of buy now and pay later with ClearPay and Afterpay. Go to squarespace.com to sign up for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Simon for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. My third tip to get out of a rut is to isolate certain skills. One of the quiet traps in photography is that it feels like a single skill. You go out, you compose, you expose, you edit. It all blends together. But photography isn't one skill. It's a stack of smaller ones layered on top of each other: light control, spatial awareness, timing, subject placement, background, visual hierarchy, and color relationships. And when you treat it as one big thing, improvement becomes pretty vague. You come home thinking, I think that went okay. That might be a red flag. So instead of going out to shoot, practice one thing. Only backlit subjects, only harsh midday light, only simplifying cluttered scenes. You start noticing opportunities related to that specific skill everywhere. You go from taking photos to making photos. This was part of my own journey. When I felt I was repeating the bird on a stick formula, I decided to try my hand at landscape photography to learn more about composition and light and patterns and colors. And when I took these learnings back to my wildlife photos, they went from this to this and this to this. And as an example of going outside your comfort zone, I went out to do wildlife photography in a helicopter with a 70-200 lens. Now that was a mental exercise. Totally threw me off. But I was able to get these and made me exercise my photography brain in a totally different way. By the way, follow me on Instagram and Facebook and sign up for my email list and download my guide for shooting backlit for free. And now a practical framework to set you on a path of improvement. When you focus on one particular thing, it's amazing what you can accomplish. So here's the tricky part. What are we going to do about it? I'm going to give you two approaches, as one technique may not work for everyone. One, a lot of photographers don't improve, not because they're unwilling to work, but because they generally don't know what they need to work on. That's why portfolio reviews are so commonly requested. Can you tell me what I'm missing? Why don't my photos feel professional? But when you're inside your own work, learning a new skill, it's really hard to see the pattern. So here's your mission, and it's slightly different. Instead of asking what's wrong with this photo, ask what's consistently weak across 10 photos. Lay out 10 of your recent images side by side. Don't zoom in. Don't look at sharpness. Prohibited. That's not what matters. Look for repetition. Are they all lit from the front? Are they all shot from standing height? Do subjects all blend in the backgrounds? Is there no clear subject? Your weakness usually isn't in one frame. It's hiding in the pattern. So once you can name the pattern, you have your training target. Now, because now you know what you're attacking, make a goal that in the next outing, you'll purposefully work on that one thing. If that doesn't feel like you, here's another approach to take things to the next level. Let's pick 3 exercises that I think can deliver the most transformation in the shortest time. 1, put your camera in black and white in the picture profile on your camera. This will make your viewfinder on a mirrorless camera black and white, but if you shoot in RAW, the photo will still be in color when you open it up on your computer. Now, why are we doing this? Thinking and composing in black and white really makes you focus on shapes and patterns for your photos. This makes you hunt for patterns in your environment, a hugely powerful skill to hone in your photography. Secondly, in your next outing, no photos at eye level. This is, in my opinion, the greatest differentiator between great and average photographers. Getting amazing photos is around perspective, the angle at which you take your photos. As standing at eye level is limiting the shots you can take, or rather make, compared to the infinite perspectives available. Start looking up, down, on the ground, shooting through something, around something, or inside something. There's just so much room for innovation by just using a unique angle. And third, the fixed focal length technique. That's right, go out with only a prime lens or zoom lens at one fixed focal length. This will force you to find the photo in the field of view that's available. This is a hugely important skill, to find the combination of arrangements, of subject and environment that will fit the limitations you set upon yourself. It will also make you zoom with your feet, getting you moving around your environment looking for photos. I hope you can use these tips to go out on your very next outing and take your own unique and amazing photos. I know you can do it.